Welcome to Heart in Hand, the Rangers podcast, the podcast that reckons we witnessed one of the great Florida Cup comebacks at the weekend. This week on Heart in Hand, how was admin day for you? So welcome to Heart in Hand, the Rangers podcast. My name's David Edgar and I'm joined this week by two August contributors to our wonderful organ. First up, it's the handsomest podder, Mr. Andy McGowan.
How you doing, David?
It's good to have you back, mate. We've missed you. And we've also got the sleaziest podder, Mr. Ian Hogg.
Good evening, David and Andy, and to listeners. Plenty to get through tonight, I'm sure.
Yes, well, first of all, administration obviously is the key thing, because as we were told last week, we are going into administration today. And now, it hasn't happened yet as of the recording time late in the evening, but I'm sure it's coming soon. How was your admin day, Andy?
Better than the last one, I'll tell you that. Much better. It's really getting to a stage that we're kind of laughing and joking about it, but it's beyond ridiculous now. It's quite unbelievable what lengths some people are going to, and I don't know what you do. Do you ignore it? Do you make fun of it? I don't know. It's just pathetic. It really is.
Well, exactly. I think you make fun of it because it's clearly made up. It's completely made up. They just, there's no basis in fact. It's not even taking a story that has a basis in fact and exaggerating it. It's just completely making it up in the way that a child would. And I do understand people who say we should take legal action against them, and I get that, and there are times I feel like that because it does damage the brand. But equally, the other side of the coin is that for certain ones of them, that's what they want. They don't have anything that we could take, they don't have anything to lose, so they quite like the idea of martyrdom, and they know that it would make them popular with their ever dwindling band of fans. Because it should be pointed out that although on social media it can feel like it's every Celtic fan, it isn't. A lot of them are well aware of what these bloggers are like and what the rumour mongers are like. So I think you just ridicule them, Hoggy.
Certainly admin 2 day was better than admin 1, that's for sure. I think today would be summed up by, in Rangers land, plenty of chatter around signings, which is nice. And there's plenty of fun to be had. Let's face it, these guys are mentally diseased, and they're simply out just to destabilise the club. I think the more the real bit for us as a club, however, is that although they are mentally diseased, they do get into this kind of mass organisation around, whether it be mass phone and mass emailing a Brighton, whether it be get the rumour monger going because of the betting on relegation. I mean, to say it's mentally diseased is probably understating it. To the point that today in the office that I was in, you had Celtic fans just laughing about how mental it was, and effectively ridiculing their own.
Yeah, and that's what I think we need to do. But as you say, Andy, it is easy to laugh and joke about it, and I get that, but it does have an effect on the brand, and it does get things out. And let's face it, they do have willing accomplices in the Scottish media who are willing to print this bollocks because they know they can write it off as just, there are rumours that, and they don't have to take any responsibility for it, but it still has the intended effect.
Yeah, I mean, it's bordering on corporate sabotage. I mean, and as you say, the newspapers, the Sun and the Record in particular, all they do basically is troll social media and message boards and report what's on there and present it as a newsworthy article on their websites, clickbait, whatever way you want to call it. But that's why do we make an example of somebody? Do Rangers go for a juggler with somebody? I would like to see it once, maybe. But the biggest thing for me today is it's quite ironic. We're talking about good signings, and that is the way to answer it. The way to answer it really is to win things and get back to where we were. Because see, when we get that, worlds will collapse for these people. It really will.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's what we've got to keep our focus on and just say, look, let's get through this, and one day it's going to be the sweetest day ever.
Yes, it is.
I think just to build upon that, David, it's a good point that all of this comes off the back of a 1-1 draw
a 0-0
at Celtic
draw.
Park.
A 0-0 draw.
A
0-0 draw.
Sorry, a 0-0 draw. Yeah, apologies.
That must have been. Must have been in the toilet.
I was still in Clint Hill Wonderland. So a 0-0 draw, and all of this happens. You've only got to look at there's a picture of a Celtic blog kicking about today, and there's 5 or 6 stories on it. The top one's about some made-up fallacy around players paying their own way to Orlando, and every single story, bar none, was about us. Yeah, it's called the Celtic blog. It's I'll go back to it. It's mentally diseased, and I would like to see the club do something about it, but more in that ridicule way. For example, David, as we spoke earlier, today's admin day, and the admin's all about the paperwork of certain signings. Ideal, and it just keeps on controlling the narrative from our point of view.
Now, we're going to talk a lot about Florida, obviously. That's the main thing that happened this week. But as we've been coming on air tonight, which we held off for because we thought it might pop up, the signing of Jason Cummings has been confirmed. He's signing on loan till the end of the season, and Rangers have an option to buy him, which is believed to be around about £600,000. Andy, I think at £600,000, I think we've won a watch, because I think there are 2 types of, if you like, wee bastards that we see for opposition sides. The ones that are just wee bastards that you go, he's a wee bastard. And then the ones that you go, he's a wee bastard, and then under your breath you go, I wish he played for us. And Jason Cummings, for me, is very much in that latter category. When I watched him, I just thought, that boy is born to play for Rangers, and I'm absolutely delighted we've got him.
No, undoubtedly. There's very few players that I'll sit in the stand, I'll stand in the stand and think I'm frightened of that player. Cummings was one of them. I hated him playing against us. I hated the fact that he did damage to us, but more than that, as you say, David, he was a wee dick, and he would rub it right in, and their fans fed off it, and you've used it in a couple of your daily updates. You spoke about his callousness, and he's got that. And I think our team is needing a wee bit of that just kind of sense of invincibility, whether it's arrogance or youth or whatever. I think we need that, and he's got it in spades. I'm astounded that we've managed to get him, to be honest, because I don't think he'd sign for us. I'll be quite honest. I don't know if he's. I know he's a Hearts fan supposedly, but if you looked at him playing for Hibs, would you have expected him to sign for us? I don't know. Clearly, the boy's well advised. Yes. Great agents, and he's got a clear enough vision of what he can achieve at Rangers, and I'm absolutely delighted to see him sign for us at last.
I think we've maybe benefited, Hoggy, from Mark Warburton being bladdered at Forest, because I think he obviously had signed him and he was a player that he wanted. But with him going and Karanka coming in, I think has created this opportunity just at the right time for us. And I honestly believe in years to come we'll be looking back at that and thinking that was a lucky break, because he fits every profile. He's the type of player we need. He's got that devilish streak about him. I think he's talented. I mean, over and above all of that, we talk a lot about attitude, but over and above all of that, he's talented, which is the main thing. And he's young, and like I say, for the fee quoted, I think that it can't not work out, because, you know, even if he doesn't do that well, then I think that we'd be able to recoup any money we spend on him, given his age and given his talent. I think it's an absolute no-brainer for Rangers.
There's not been many times recently, probably in the past, 50 years, whereby we've been in the right place at the right time for a signing. And yep, thanks very much, Mr. Warburton, for fucking it up. And therefore, we've got a player on loan that we don't have to buy in the summer, but we've got a guaranteed fee if we want to buy him of reported 600,000, which is less than we would have paid Hibs, incidentally.
Who would not have sold him to us if they had any other options? And
also, there's an added wee bit to that. I don't know if Hibs had a kind of percentage sell-on fee over and above what they paid. I fucking hope they did, because they're getting nothing. I think it's a cracking signing. He's young, Scottish, hungry, knows the league. He's gallus, he's confident. he's talented and he's a goal scorer. And over and above, add to that package, he's, as you say, he's an annoying wee dick that you really would like on your side.
Andy, I think one of the things that we as kind of older fogies and gone for years sometimes forget is that you need guys that younger fans can associate with and that are going to excite younger fans. And I remember actually our podder Alex at the time when a lot of people were getting stuck into Nathan Adua was pointing out that his son, who was I think 9 or 10 at the time, and his friends and loads of kids at Ibrox, they loved him. And that I think is another advantage of Cummings. He's somebody that, you know, he does daft things, not generally, you know, that costs his team, but he does have that kind of streak of daft boyness, as we say in Scotland. But I think he's somebody that the younger fans will really identify with in a way that they maybe haven't been able to do with a player for a number of years now.
No, you're right. I mean, we live in the kind of FIFA video game age where kids are living and breathing football through their computer. You know, then the social media element to it. The likes of Cummings, as you say, captures the imagination. He's I said earlier, the Hibs fans used to feed off him, so he would do things in the park that kind of spark something in the crowd. And I think if he can recreate that at Rangers, then it could be a real added dimension, if you like, to the team. Because as you say, we've not got that many players that will get you off your seat or do something off the cuff that he can. As a player, I mean, I've seen him play against us plenty, and I've seen him in damages plenty. I've not really seen him this season with Forest at a higher level, apart from the 2 goals he scored at Newcastle, which were incidentally 2 cracking goals he scored. But he's a player that we've not really got. Ian Ellis is good, and I love him, and I think he's a great striker, and he's got a lot of attributes. But Cummings is he's something different. He reminds me of, heaven forbid, he reminds me of Mo Johnson. Yes. When he was younger. And I don't know if it's just his socks rapid in his legs, but he's that same kind of gait, same kind of goals he scores in and around the box. He can link up. He's good in the air for a wee guy. He's always put me in mind of Mo Johnson. So if he does what Mo Johnson did for us, then he'll not go far wrong.
No, I'd be perfectly happy with that. Now, some reports surfaced that Stephen Naismith might be heading into Ibrox for talks, and whether or not that did or didn't happen, I believe now, Hoggy, that Rangers' interest has cooled on that, and in fact that Naismith was being considered as a backup if they didn't get Jason Cummings, but with his arrival that probably puts an end to it, and it looks likely that he'll sign for either Hearts or Kilmarnock. What's your take on the whole Naismith saga? And it does seem to be coming to an end now.
Yeah, I think so. We did on the Patreon site, we did the head to head on Stephen Naismith, the for and the against, and I think I said on that, David, that it wasn't about Naismith, it's always about Rangers. And if we could strike a deal to make Rangers a better Rangers at that point in time, then we should probably look to do it. I do still believe that Stephen Naismith would have an awful lot to add to a squad. But the flip side is, if it's only until the summer, and granted it would be to Rangers a free move, you know, Norwich would still pick up 80% of his reported salary. It would be a good move. However, with the guys that are starting to come in, if we manage to get Docherty, that I'm sure we'll come on to, got Cummings, and hopefully he works out and we sign him perfectly, got Murphy, we sign him permanently in the summer, all of a sudden there's a young forward line backbone that Naismith would be coming for first team football, almost guaranteed first team football, and I don't think he would get that anymore.
Andy?
I think I would have taken him. I think if you take away the name Stephen Naismith and you describe the player and where he's came from and his moves that he's had and the level he's been playing at, you would have probably said, well, why are we not taking this player? But I take on board what you're saying, Hoggy. It's a young, youthful team, and his opportunities may have been more limited than we would expect. But what I would have liked to have, or what I'd have thought he could have done for us, is kind of taking up the Kenny Miller mantle. A wee bit older head, a guy that's been around a wee bit. But in saying that, I've not seen him lately. I've got to say, I've not tuning in to watch Norwich every other week. I don't know if his level of play is anywhere near what it was when he left us, because he was definitely at his peak when he left us. Did well at Everton, I suppose, but I suppose youth is the way forward, and if we're going to buy players to sell on or to get a couple of years out of them and get some value back, then that would be against the signature.
It's still, David, it still wouldn't surprise me if Naismith ends up at Rangers towards the end of the deadline. To what you said there, Andy, probably echoes myself, that I don't think the deal will... I've got a sneaky suspicion the deal won't happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. If it did, then it's all about us. It's not about guaranteed first-team football for him. And, I mean, if an offer was to come from Rangers without guaranteed football and he weighs it up against Hearts and Kilmarnock, I've got a suspicion he would sign.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it being a bit like Boyd when he came back and played for Kilmarnock and then went to Rangers again. I think that you could see that he could go there for a few months, and if he does well, maybe again try to get the move in the summer, because it's something he's desperate to do. But I mean, all along the noise is coming from Ibrox, where he's not on Murty and Allen's radar. They're not interested, and it does seem to be borne out. And there were people at Ibrox in positions of power who did want him. But this transfer window has been all about Mark Allen with input from Graham Murty, and we're seeing that. And moving on to a couple of the players, Hoggy brought him up there, and now Rangers today, reports suggest have had bids for two players turned down. One for Jordan Jones of Kilmarnock, whose manager Steve Clarke described the bid as easy to turn down, said if he was a player he'd be slightly sad at how little Rangers valued him at. And the other one was for Greg Docherty of Hamilton Accies. Now, at the moment, we don't know whether or not Rangers are going to go back in or not. Certainly the noises are that they definitely will be going back in for Docherty. I think one of the issues with Jones is that Rangers rate him round about 500,000, Kilmarnock rate him round about $1 million, but believe that there are clubs down south willing to pay $1 million for him. So how do you feel about those two names potentially coming in, or whether or not we will get them?
Docherty is a crank player. I think they've seen him at Ibrox when Hamilton beat us. He was the best player in the park by a mile. He's strong, he's direct, he's got the potential to be a complete footballer, complete midfielder even. And I think if we were to get him at this stage of his career, then it would be a real coup, because you're talking about Jones there and the bid that's went in. Our biggest problem is that we're across the border for the biggest cash cow in world football, and it's just completely bonkers down there. I mean, we were talking earlier about getting Cummings for 600 grand. It's chicken feed. So if we manage to get Docherty for, I don't know, see, even up to 700 grand, I'd pay for that boy, because I think he's got it. If you get that before somebody down south comes in and slaps in £1 million, then that would be really, really good for us. Jones, I don't know so much about. I've only seen him a couple of times. He's rapid, he's direct, he's obviously got potential, he's getting international recognition as well. And the fact that we are willing to look to maybe £500,000, which isn't an inconsiderable amount for us just now, on who would potentially be a fringe player to start with, I'd imagine. That kind of gives an indication of how highly we rate him. I would like to see both. I was delighted to see his link with Docherty, because every time I see him, he's the best player that Hamilton have got, and I think just his physique, his ability, he likes to shoot, he can score, he can tackle. He's just an all-rounder, and they are indispensable.
To echo what Andy said, Ian, from my point of view, if we only have enough money to make one of these deals happen, then for me it would be Docherty, absolutely. I'm still kind of haunted by not getting James MacArthur all those years ago for 500 grand when it seemed a glaringly obvious bit of business. And I have a feeling if we don't make this deal happen now, it will be one that we're looking back in a few years and going, why didn't we?
Oh, I think for the types of deals that we're looking at in this window, and clearly as a kind of benchmark going forward, it goes against the grain of what we've heard for years, which has been bullshit, to be honest. So for years we've heard that there's no talents in Scotland, it's not a market to shop in. It's at our doorstep. there are talents up and down the country. We just need to go and scout them properly and get them. Docherty becomes, for me, it's in the no-brainer territory. If we can get him for 600,000-700,000, is anyone really, barring injury, is anyone really trying to tell us that we won't recoup that money and get it back, at least? Docherty, let's get the deal done. He wants to come, and we'll get the guy relatively cheaply. We will improve him. He'll improve us, certainly squad, and hopefully, maybe even instantly from a first team point of view, and we'll make money on him. What's not to like? From Jones, like you, Andy, I've seen less of him. What I have seen is, lightning fast and sometimes suspect end product.
Raw, yeah, he is.
If we can only afford one of them, it's Docherty. If we can get the pair of them, great. I'm not convinced I'd be going £1 million on the basis of raw potential, and he's a Northern Irish internationalist, because let's face it, Lee Hudson's a Northern Irish internationalist.
Fair point. Andy, even if we don't get another signing or one of these two, and that would probably be a slight disappointment for the three of us, and talking about certainly Docherty, Jones, I get the feeling that we'd all like, but we're not that bothered, which I think tells you everything, and maybe how high Rangers should go and how they should prioritise it. Well, how we feel, of course. The Rangers scouting department may feel slightly differently, but there is talk, really, really serious talk tonight as we record, and may even break, during that Rangers may decide to do it tonight as well. But that Russell Martin of Norwich City and Scotland international will be signing on loan till the end of the season, but he's out of contract at the end of the season, so the opportunity to make a permanent signing would happen then. Will be arriving. Now, if he arrives, then that's Goss, Murphy, Cummings, Martin. That's a good window. I mean, surely that has to constitute, for a club that did invest money in the summer and doesn't have a lot of it to throw around, that is as much as I think we could have hoped for. And you get Docherty in there as well, then Rangers, I think, currently have had a really good window. If they get Docherty, I think Rangers have had a sensational window.
Yeah. I mean, through the season, we've spoken about in the pod the fact that it's not necessarily first 11, it's wanting. It's the squad, and the squad is the key to consistency. If you can replace players with a similar standard when there's injuries or suspensions, then you've got a far, far greater chance of competing against Celtic over the course of the season. That's obvious. So even by bringing back the loan guys, Halliday, O'Halloran, they might not be ideal, they might never make it at Rangers, but what they've done there is they've bolstered the squad a wee bit, and they'll bolster our bench, because there's some weeks we look at that bench and there've been absolutely nothing there at all. So the fact that we've added the players that you just mentioned, hopefully Martin can be added to that as well, because I think he'd be an acquisition. That gives us a far better chance of competing week in, week out, and trying to get away for this kind of 2 weeks good, 1 week bad, because that's no use. One of the biggest concerns I had when we had the kind of manager debacle with McInnes was that this transfer window was going to pass us by, because first of all, we can't afford for a transfer window to pass us by. We're a team that needs to progress fast. But it's not happened. What's happened is that we've allowed Mark Allen to do his job. This is what he's been brought in for. There's obviously no concerns on the part of the players about what happens at the end of the season with regards Murty, because they've been wanting to sign on with an option to sign in the case of Murphy and Cummings. So I'm delighted with the way things have panned out. I think it kind of flies in the face of I would use the word hysteria that we were starting to get with regards to the board, right, after the McInnes carry on. I think we all need to just take a wee step back at times and think that this is a progress, a work in progress. There needs to be an element of patience. There will be setbacks, and in the kind of moment, the feels terrible, but it can be turned over. We can make a team that's worthy of the name Rangers, and ultimately can challenge Celtic and at least make a fist a challenge on the title. These players fit the bill. I like Martin. Martin's a strong defender. He's been about. I think if we've learned anything, it's quite easy to go down south and buy centre halves that can compete at our level at the very least. You've got Berg, you've got Clint Hill, you've got Davy Weir, you've got Ehiog. All these players came up and strolled it by and large. So I would hope that he comes in, does a job, and complements these young players that we're talking about. If you do get Doherty, you do get Jones, you'll have quite a young team if you add in Windass and Morelos. They're all under 22, 23. So we do need a couple of older heads to kind of get the balance of the team right and the experience of the team right.
Ian, I've been asked this question quite a lot on social media, so I'm going to just answer it now to get it out of the way. A story grew arms and legs about when Derek McInnes had his talks with Rangers that he was presented a list of targets from Mark Allen and apparently said, I wouldn't even sign them for Aberdeen, never mind Rangers. Now, this didn't happen, right? It just absolutely didn't happen. But surely the proof of that is, are we really expected to believe that these guys, who are Mark Allen guys, are we really expected to believe that Aberdeen couldn't fit into their side Sean Goss, Jamie Murphy, Jason Cummings and Russell Martin? Because I don't believe that.
I think you've just answered your own question, David. There's absolutely zero chance that happened.
It didn't. It absolutely didn't.
And if any of these players were presented to Derek McInnes to sign for Aberdeen, he would bite the Aberdeen's hand, leg, feet and balls off for them.
Absolutely. It was just one of these stories that I think, again, somebody's made it up, but it's passed around and it sounds good, but it didn't happen. And I think you can see that with the work that's gone in the window.
Sorry, Dave, I think just to add to the question around if we get Martin, if we get Doherty, it'll have been an outstanding window. I think you should also focus on the one or two that have gone out the door. The likes of, seemingly expensive mistakes in the likes of Carlos Pena, who is, we'd all love him to succeed, but he's not going to, and it looks as if he's gone back to Cruz Azul, who incidentally beat Guadalajara at the weekend, league leaders, and we've recouped at least the wages for him with an option to buy. I think if you add that into the mix, this is turning out to be a superb window.
All of which takes us then to a recent tour of the USA, where Rangers trained in some what looked and was reported to be some absolutely wonderful facilities in Florida, and then played 2 matches which Graham Murty said he was going to treat as 4 45-minute training sessions, and did so, but came out with 2 excellent confidence building results. Before we get to that, Andy, the inevitable story. Now, America, a country where there's a mass shooting every day, rocked to its very foundations because all of that sort of thing, and the economic turmoil and the divisions between the right and the left in America, and the immigration issue, all of that was put into the shade because there were reports that there were some Rangers fans singing the Billy Boys, and has caused certainly the gravest constitutional crisis in American history since the secession from the Union by the South began when they fired on Fort Sumter in the 1860s. That story was written before they went, wasn't it? That was always going to be put up.
Aye. I mean, one day we'll have an adult conversation about this kind of thing in Scotland, and then we can talk about it, because it's getting to the stage now where, as you quite rightly say, David, it was a stick on that kind of thing would crop up. Now, you can argue all day whether we should be singing it or no, and the semantics and everything else, right? I'm not even going to bother getting into it because I'm sick of it. But the story here is that, does it matter? Is it the worst thing that happens? Is there other things going on? I mean, but there was 2 serious racism cases in the paper or on the web this week. Was it Spartak?
Yes.
And then there was the case at Hanover as well. Really bad racism. And I think to pick out 2 fans that were singing on camera a couple of naughty words it says more about the Scottish media and the thirst for we've talked about the sectarianism industry in this country, and how they kind of fan the flames of it as much as anything else, and it doesn't help. So there's a lot more to be said about this, David, but we wouldn't be able to do it justice in this podcast for a couple of hours, to be honest.
No, but you hit the nail on the head. I think that we're just also bored of it now, and it's basic clickbait for the people that we spoke about at the start of the show, the Sevcoholics, that it's this nonsense. And of course it comes out, Ian, later on, that the journalist responsible has a series of tweets communicating with donate donate button bloggers. He put things like jelly and ice cream when the Huns go into liquidation, all that kind of shit. It's embarrassing and childish, isn't it?
Yep, we've got I think that sectarian industry is. We've seen it over the years. We've seen it for the last 20 years, I think, David. Especially all through the time, especially the early years of the RST.
Oh, aye.
We've had a so-called journalist that went to Cardonal College alongside another famous failed journalist.
Infamous.
Infamous and crap and failed journalist, and this guy's a pal. It was you're spot on. It was written before they went. It was the guy was waiting to hit send or upload, probably as much as the Sebcoholics were waiting to donate now. And the usual suspects, like our old pal Graham Spears, jumped on it immediately in the kind of usual one-way street that happens in the country. These are guys that have made their living off of this.
Correct.
They don't want this to go away. They want this in the news every single day because it's how they make their lazy living.
Andy and I will remember from our time at the Trust that we used to think that, Andy, that we were serious about actually fighting sectarianism, and the people that wrote the most about it weren't. They didn't want to. They just wanted a stick to beat Rangers with. And it was quite apparent because every time we proposed actually doing something about it, they were nowhere to be found.
Yeah. I mean, I've personally speaking, right, I don't think we should. I think the battle's been lost on that particular song that was sung. I think we've kind of lost the ground on that, and it's too much to recover, even if you could argue why. But you're right, the Spears thing kind of sums it up. He sits there, that crops up, he can't wait to get a tweet out about it, and kind of get his usual virtue signalling. The Parkhead game there that we had the banner for the Celtic support. I don't know IRA songs, but I looked at the big banner, I thought, I bet that's words for an IRA song. And it was. And nobody says a word. And see that kind of double standard, that is why we've got the problem, because I went to my MSP about this, right, and you might be sitting and saying, how sad's that, but I went at the start of the Offensive Behaviour Act kind of cropped up, because I could see this coming, and I said to him, if you don't act equally on both sides, then it's counterproductive, because what you've got is, well, they can sing it or they can do that, so we're going to do it. I think you could win a watch a wee bit if we actually started just watching we do ourselves, and it should swing the pendulum or swing the spotlight onto other things that happen in this country and other supports, because it's obvious that we're the only ones that actually get the articles about us if it happens. I mean, look at that Falkirk carry on. That's a disgrace. That is beyond belief that happens nowadays. For those
of you who aren't sure what Andy's talking about, Dunfermline fans took rubber eyes, little folk, like you get in a joke shop, and threw them at Dean Shields during a match recently.
So you've got that kind of thing going on, but a couple of folk out in Florida probably pissed. In fact, I know one of the people lives in Florida, so she's probably totally unaware of the kind of hullabaloo about use of language and so forth over here. It's a bit of a non-story, to be honest, and it was run for 3-4 days in 3 different types of articles. It was just wrung to death. I say an adult conversation's required about how you tackle this kind of thing.
It was interesting, Andy, though, the makeup of the story. It was all the it was like provocative bingo. You had the songs being banned. It's no really. It's sectarian. It's no really. And when you get into, you can only see the White House going into meltdown around, oh fuck, Rangers fans sang a naughty song, we better revisit people's First Amendment rights in America. It shows what a bloody nonsense it actually is.
Well, if you listen
if we go back to what we're talking, sorry David, if we go back to what we're talking about earlier on about the kind of, I use the phrase corporate sabotage, it's just a kind of routine damaging of the brand. Now, you could argue we inflict it upon ourselves. So I'm not defending the song, right? I want to make that very, very clear. I'm definitely not defending the song. But there needs to be a far wider conversation about this, because every football support in the world, if you looked hard enough, you're going to find an article that you could write about something they're singing.
What I will say, Andy, is we took from all across America and from the UK, we took an amazing support to Florida.
Correct.
An amazing, large numbered and vocal support all the way across the Atlantic and all the way from across North America and South America. We had, as I say, an amazing support. They backed the team. The team and the manager absolutely loved it. That's what I want to focus on, not the odd naughty word. And I'll say it now: the support that were out there were phenomenal.
Yeah, they were, and we've actually got, if you listen right to the end of the pod after the music, then you'll hear one of those American Bears, or one of those Bears who's a long-term resident of the USA, but he's originally from here, friend of the show, Ross Adair, who was a roving reporter on Patreon, and you'll hear his summation of what it was like over there, and also how seriously they took the Sun's article is included. So listen on past the music, and you'll get Ross with his report from the scene. Now to the actual football. Rangers in both matches, lads. I'll start off with you, Andy. I thought that we didn't play particularly well in the first half of either. Now, against Atletico Mineiro, we were playing there. Mostly their under-20s side, but they were pacey and they were young, and they looked quite good. Second half, Rangers changed the side wholesale, 10 substitutions at half time, played quite well. I thought Josh Windass looked really good, scored the winner. And then of course that amazing game with Corinthians where first half 2-0, didn't get going at all. Nothing really happened for us. Second half, again, loads of 7 at half time this time. Some of the best football I've seen from a Rangers team. Yes, it was a friendly, but it was still great to watch our lads schooling a Brazilian side. Overall, what were your takeaways from the two matches?
Nothing but positive, to be honest. I thought the first game was a wee bit uneventful, but we got a good goal. There was some good performances in there. But the second game, as you say, Davey, was sometimes you get these wee things that get flung up. You think you've seen everything with Rangers. I know it was only a friendly, but at 2-0 down at half time, I didn't think there was any way we were coming back for that game. There was no way that I thought we would score without reply again, if you like, in the second half. So the credit to the players that came on. I thought Halliday, when they came on, done fantastically well, taking a drive the game forward, get a wee bit of added aggression, a wee bit of belief as well. Morelos just shows you that if you do supply this guy, he's going to score your goals in and around the box. He's deadly. I thought that the boy Goss is going to pose a real selection headache, because I don't think his quality on the ball will be able to be left out. So it then asks questions of Jack and Holt and all these kind of players that they're going to have to step their game up to keep him out, to be honest. His delivery for the goal was fantastic.
Beautiful. For Morelos is first.
We've not had a left foot delivery like that for a long, long time.
Albert's maybe?
Aye.
Yeah, genuinely. Maybe that long.
Because one of the things that I did take for the two games is that the set pieces were pretty crap, and it's been a big bugbear of mine that even when we're struggling at home, that we still can't do anything at all with most set pieces. So hopefully with his left foot there, if that wasn't a one-off, if that's his norm, then we might have something actually to look forward to when we get free kicks and corners.
A couple of names that Andy touched on there, Hoggy, I'd like to chat to you about. Andy Halliday, I thought, did really well in both. Of course, scored in the second match, but also had a fantastic goal-saving clearance in the first match, and played quite well in both the matches. I thought he was terrific. And Goss is bigger than I thought he was. And then suddenly with these two coming in, and hopefully Docherty, instead of having two players and then young Ross McCrory to go in there, although he's considered his future's going to be at centre-back, we've suddenly got 4 or 5 options as opposed to 2.
It goes back to what Andy said earlier. Sometimes, or the majority of the time, it's almost first 11 picks itself, and you look at the bench and there's not much on there at all. All of a sudden, we're going to have options. We're going to have selection headaches. It's up to Murty to get it right, obviously. Goss, I I was quite surprised. He's a pretty tall guy. His distribution, not just his free kick, but his ability to retain the ball and recycle it was very, very good indeed. Halliday, I'm really pleased for him, I have to say. Clearly, it wasn't working out under Pedro, and he goes to Azerbaijan. Didn't work out. Wanted to come back. We bring him back and play him in a more attacking midfield role, which is maybe his kind of natural instinct. And I think you saw in the second game that Morelos gets the ball out wide, and you're looking for that player to be bursting into the box. Halliday did, gambled, got at the end of it, got his goal. I'm pleased for him. It's never enough just to be a dyed-in-the-wool bear, because if it was, the three of us would be in the squad, yes, right? Exactly. However, he does have talent, and hopefully it's going to be utilised in the right manner, so he's not languishing in that defensive midfielder role. The one thing I'll say about both the games, first halves were both, I think we were poor in them. Minero, the first half is probably summed up by, we played Dalcio at left back. File that under things you thought you'd never see it with Rangers.
Yes.
And the other thing that really struck me in both first halves was, we've talked about it a number of times, about Nico Cranchar having it in his head but not in his body anymore.
Yeah.
Both first halves, that was absolutely the case. These were reasonably, not far off walking pace friendlies, and Cranchar was struggling. I think he will, with Murphy and Docherty and Goss and Halliday coming back, etc. I think he'll really, really struggle to even get a sub spot for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but as you touched on, Andy, we've gone from benches, not just one off with injuries or whatever, but multiple games. I mean, really a month where there was nothing on it that could change a game, nothing at all, or that you would be confident throwing on. Herrera has reiterated his desire to stay, which is fair enough, but he'll need to improve, because he has had more minutes to show something in the last few matches, last few games, okay, albeit friendlies, but there was a 45-minute earlier against Motherwell, and he hasn't really done very much. And now, instead of having to look down the bench and it's him and it's Hardy and maybe young Barjonas and that's it, the rest are defenders or a goalkeeper, you're now actually getting to a stage where you might have players, as Ian suggested, not even getting onto a bench, and that is a huge thing for us.
Yeah, the bench is key. I mean, the games we've dropped points at Ibrox, if you had a bench of note, you might not have dropped the points, because you could have brought somebody on to add impetus or to get the crowd going or to create things. We just never had that at all this season. And it's something we've touched upon, as you say, David, time and time again. It's just the overall quality of the squad was lacking. So, as I say, Halliday and O'Halloran coming back, I don't think O'Halloran will beat Rangers long term, but he's going to be a better option coming off the bench if you're needing something to happen than what we had before.
Yeah.
And Ian, I agree with you about Halliday. Halliday's a far better player than what we give him credit for. And in a different era, Halliday would be or Derek McInnes, because I think the better team he plays with, the better he would be. And I think that's an obvious statement. Who wouldn't be a better player and a better team? But he's technically sound. He's good. He gets stuck in for a boy's size. He can go past players if he wants. He was smothered by the role that was given by Warburton, which was this kind of makeshift defensive midfielder, to the point where we kind of took him for granted, and he started to get on our go a wee bit because he wasn't doing what we hoped he should do. And players around him weren't complimenting him. I feel like I don't think him and Holt were a good combination at all. So I think he's got a role to play definitely for years to come with Rangers as a squad player, definitely.
So we're coming to the end of the show today, lads. I think we're all feeling in a better place than we were certainly mid-December, or certainly after the Kilmarnock match. We ended with a couple of decent results. We've had a good window transfer-wise. We've had a good confidence-building tour. Ian, what's realistic for the rest of the season? What are the aims?
I think the one thing I've taken out the last few days, probably since the Celtic game, but certainly the last few days in Florida, is how happy the squad looks together in each other's company. I think giving Josh Windass Snapchat duty in Florida really showed that, to be honest. You've got a happy squad that went on a team bonding trip, that bonded superbly, and now it's up to the squad and the manager to really kick on. Is the Scottish Cup beyond us? No, I don't think it is. Is Cummings second beyond us? No, I think that's the absolute bare minimum that we have to get this season. It's not a should do, it's a must do. And do I think we can close the gap in Celtic? Yes, I do. It's whatever it is just now, 11 points. I think, going back to your point there, Andy, about players coming off the bench, we looked at the bench against Celtic when we were creating chances, when Morelos was missing chances and we only had Herrera. Mm-hmm. Imagine for a second that's Jason Cummings coming off the bench. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, that's Celtic fans have the feeling that we do when Lee Griffiths comes off the bench against us. Yep. So do I think we can close the gap? Yeah, I do. So for me, the bare minimum is second place, some good showings against Celtic, and progressing as far as we can in that Scottish Cup, hopefully to the final, David.
Andy, the board haven't invested in these players in this window when they had invested in the summer, and okay, they invested badly, but they did, and they deserve the credit for that. But they haven't got these players in or sanctioned these deals to finish third. I'm with Hoggy on that. I think that this season's still very much live as far as they're concerned, and I think they're right.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke before about the missed opportunity this season with Celtic on a relatively poor season, but still being so far ahead because we've allowed it to happen. I think we need to go back to the Le Guin era for a bit of inspiration, because he obviously left around about Christmas time and New Year's Day or something like that. And Walter came in and with a couple of pragmatic signings and being pragmatic with the team as well, how they played, how they set up, all that kind of thing, with a fantastic second half of the season, which led into the season after, which is obviously a memorable season for different reasons. So we've got to go into this second half of the season with the mentality that we win every game. I don't think we've had that before. I think there's been that kind of fragility that we knew that we had games in us where we might drop points, and it was almost a certain kind of inevitability that you would get a two. Well, just look at how long it took us to win 3 games in a row. That kind of sums it up. So with these signings, there's got to be a better chances finishing second than before the window, put it that way. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it would be nice to get off to a good start versus Aberdeen at Ibrox on the 24th. It'll be a very hard game, and they'll be up for it. But again, it's down to us and what we do.
Yep, absolutely, and very much looking forward to it. Which might not necessarily, when we were leaving Rugby Park that day, I'm not sure. No. I'm not sure that was a feeling that was universally felt. So well done to Rangers for at least turning that round. Now, a couple of announcements before we go. First up, our friends at the Rangers Supporters Erskine Appeal, who are about to go through a magnificent £750,000 raised to help them break through that barrier. They've released their famous Tangerine scarf, RSEA scarf, and it's £15, and if you want to go and invest in one, please do go along to rsea.org.uk and you can pick one up, a nice piece of kit. So there you go, and of course all the money that's raised through that goes to the veterans at Erskine. It's a wonderful charity. And then a little bit of our own housekeeping. Heart and Hand are venturing east. Hoggy, you assure me that they have electricity out there?
Sometimes.
I'll bring a charger. But yes, we are heading to Dunfermline on Saturday, March the 3rd, when the Heart and Hand live show will take place at the British Legion Hall there. Very much looking forward to it, because it's a wonderful pod lineup that night. You've got myself, obviously, worth the ticket money, frankly. You've got our boy Hoggy here. You've got the Livingston, Lothario, Cameron Bell, and you've got, what's that young guy's name that we're giving another go to, Hoggy? What's his name?
Kevin someone.
Kevin Thompson, yeah, you might have heard of him. Kev will be joining us as well, so it's going to be a spectacular night. If you come along, as people who saw him at the Loudon will know, he's a fantastic evening, and yes, you will get to hear that story. But obviously, of course, Kev now coaching at Rangers, so you get to hear his philosophy on football and all that. It's going to be a wonderful night, and you get to hear us Muppets, making knob jokes round about him. So it's well worth. Going to be a great night. Saturday, March the 3rd. Tickets will go on sale this Friday night at 7 o'clock. So please keep an eye out for them. They'll be on social media Friday night, 7 o'clock. They are limited to 150. So if you want one, I suggest you be quick. If it's anything like it is in the Glasgow shows, they go. I mean, the last one sold out in 98 seconds. So I would suggest you be quick for this. Tickets are £10. A very good evening is pretty much guaranteed. And even as I say, if you don't particularly want to see us, it will be worth it to see Kevin. And you'll get to see a full interview with Kev during that. And he's a lovely guy. Well worth coming along and meeting him and bringing your stuff to get signed. So Dunfermline, we're looking forward to coming through and visiting you. So with that, all that remains for me to do is to tell you where you can hear more of us, which is on our Patreon service. If you want daily updates, quiz shows, history shows, breaking news updates, you name it, you'll find it. Hoggy has his own show on there. Big Scott, for those of you who are missing him, he pops up on there as well. Loads and loads of content. Andy's going to attempt the quiz this week. You feeling confident, Andrew?
I was feeling confident until you tell me it was Stevie Terry that made the questions up.
Yes, it is. Those of you who may know.
I'd just like to point out, Andy, Hoggy tops the leaderboard with 13, mate. No pressure.
Yeah.
But I done in the house and I get 24.
And you were up against Cammy and Alex, who quite frankly were a disgrace to the name Rangers.
This is true.
Yeah, he's gone quiet there. But Andy will be on it this week, as will listeners. We're starting to get listeners involved in the quiz, so she'll come on and get involved. Prices to subscribe start for a bargain $1.99 per month. So it's patreon.com, patreon.com // heart and hand, and you can come along and see us there. If you want to get in touch with us on social media, I'm at IbroxRocks. Andy, you are
at Bob McPhail.
And Hoggy,
it's at Vanderhog.
I will thank our executive producers in London, Mr. Mike Lee and Mr. Paul Myers. Thank you all for listening. Listen to the end and you'll hear our American reporter. And with that, thank you very much for listening. I'll talk to you again on Thursday. Cheers. Bye. Okay, joining me now is a roving reporter from the US of A, just literally roving in a taxi at the moment. Ross, how are you feeling? Quiet night?
It was a good laugh, mate. It was everything I could have asked for and more.
Well, you did receive a sort of angry message at half time from someone who shall remain nameless saying you're a fucking jinx.
I think that was you calling me a jinx, aye.
Well,
so I think I redeemed myself in the second half.
What was it like? It must have been amazing the second half.
It really was just. I know it's only a friendly and all that, but it was just brilliant. Just brilliant for all the Bears that made the effort to go out there, and they obviously got the win on Thursday night. But just for going for that first half was really uneventful. Seemed like we had most of the possession, but they went up the park 3 times and twice they
scored.
So it's kind of like a game at Ibrox.
Yes, it was very like a game at Ibrox, except there was a stirring comeback. We've not seen many of those. Who impressed you?
The one that actually sticks out for me was Goss, just because it was the first time seeing him. But he just looks the part. I don't know what you think about that, David.
It's his touch. I think he looks like a boy that no fear of the ball.
He carries himself.
Aye, absolutely. What was it like?
Just a few wee moves. There was one wee move, almost went out of touch, and he just looked like he was going to knock it back away, but he done a wee step over and he kept it in play and actually ended up passing it forward. I think I remember.
He's definitely played himself into. I mean, that's what you need with guys like that, innit? Come in and impress the fans early and get yourself on the good side.
I know he get too carried away, but definitely, I remember reading about the Michael Carrick,
comparison.
Comparison, aye. So, like I say, not get too carried away, but it was champions of Brazil. So,
what were the troops like? It seemed there was plenty of singing.
They were in good voice. Like I said, I texted you at half time, said it was a bit disappointing so far, and you called me a jinx.
Mm-hmm.
And the atmosphere wasn't great in the first half. Everybody was just kind of getting the feel of the place, but into the second half, and obviously even with that first goal, getting the goal back, it was just great to see us put the ball in the back of the net.
Now, you sent me a picture.
It went for there, and then the atmosphere was fantastic.
You sent me a picture of you outside the ground, and you were explaining a wee bit the other night, but the line wasn't great. So just explain to punters what this tailgate thing is in America.
So just a lot of people just drive out the game a good few hours before, set up, and a lot of them bring their grills or barbecues, and
to the game.
Just make what's that?
To the game, they take a barbecue.
No, with charcoal. Although some of the more hardcore ones will do the charcoal. But I with propane grills and hot dogs and cheeseburgers and a lot of beer. So we actually got the bus. This girl Alicia, who I believe is enjoying a wee bit of infamy back in Scotland. She organised 3 buses for a bar called Murphy's just off International.
Oh, Jamie's place.
Jamie's place. I thought it sounded a bit dubious, but now we've got.
I knew we've got GM. We're
so
all
we all
right
showed up. We all pitched up at Murphy's, and there was 3 buses, and we they pull in. We kind of invaded the tailgate, and they had the bus with your $20. There was it came with 2 free beers, and they were in big camping style coolers with ice that we got when we pitched up at the tailgate.
It sounds a lot more civilised than standing outside Ibrox with a half bottle of Bucky, I've got to say.
There was no Bucky. That was the only disappointing aspect of the day.
Every time Ross comes home, folks, it's one of his first trips. Ditches the wife and Wayne's and heads out to Hadley's and gets a bottle of Bucky.
That's back when I first moved over, and my mum or dad would come over to visit, and we would have the list for the Heinz baked beans and the Scottish blend and the Maynard's wine gums, and obviously a bottle of Buckfast. And that's the only thing that they still bring every time.
Take that as a lesson, mate. It comes to us all in the end up. So now the thing about this trip, obviously, that there was a little bit of stuff over here, but it seemed that the fans over there didn't really give a monkeys, because clearly you do have a lot of Bears who live over there, and they're not going to really care what the Scottish Sun thinks of them. Is that fair to say?
I think everybody was. It was a wee bit of drama yesterday morning. Everybody was saying, "Oh man, we made the front page of the rags." It's just everything's been really positive about the trip, and they're just. They're obviously just trying to put a negative slant on things.
That's exactly what they were doing, mate.
But I like this is America, land of the free. We do what the fuck we want.